Good morning. I've come down to another cove on the south coast of Devon. Believe it or not, there's another photographer down here as well, which surprises me. Anyway, it's about 20 minutes before sunrise, so I'm a little bit late down here. I've come down to a place called Ansteys Cove, which is one of the coves in Torbay again. So I'm going to have a little look around. This is a cove where you can get the sunrise, but as you can see behind me, there's too much cloud cover. It was a gamble for me again this morning for whether there'd be a good sunrise. But it's a nice location, lovely little cove. Got to be careful where I go because the tide is in and still coming in. If you look, you can see down there, you can get over to that little cove area when the tide's out, but it's blocked off with the tide there now at the moment. Plus I think the tide's coming in, high tide isn't for another, I think about 3 hours or something yet, so it's going to come in a fair bit more. So I'm going to have to shoot over this other side, which is where the other photographer is, but there's room for two, I think. I will have to have a look, set up and see what looks best. It might be quite good looking over to those when the sun comes up and shed some light over them, but saying that, it'll be a while before the sun's up with the cloud cover there. But like I say, I'm gonna have a little look around, see what compositions I can get, and I will be back with you shortly, so I'll see you in a second. To be honest with you, I'm struggling for a composition this morning. What with the combination of things, the clouds aren't great this morning, not really any light over there, a little tiny bit of pink coming but hardly anything. With the tide in, I can't get to certain places, and probably being a little bit late here and another photog being here as well, probably in the position that I would be in roughly. I don't want to go over and get in their shot and that, obviously, so I mean, I'll see, pop over there in a minute maybe and have a look. So I've sort of like clambered out over the railings onto these rocks. Nice and high, so no chance of getting trapped. I did clamber, just show it, come over this way a bit. I did clamber down there just now, but again I can't really get to any position that would give me a decent composition. I will have a look over towards the other bay again. Like I say, I'm thinking about the rocks over there, if a bit of light hits them, but I'm not sure at what time the sun's going to come out over those clouds, because the cloud's quite high on the horizon there. So what I need to do is scout around a little bit more, see what I can get. Like I say, it might mean going down over by where the other guy is, but we'll see. Nice peaceful location here, and it has connections with Agatha Christie as well. Google it, but I think she had sort of like a moonlight picnic down here with a guy, and it puts towards a scene in one of her books, something about pigs, can't remember the title of it. Have a Google and have a look if you're interested. So I'm going to, like I say, have a little wander around again, see if I can come up with any other compositions that I'm happy with. Wait around a bit, see what happens. I'll catch up with you again in a minute. Another reason I'm struggling a bit more today is because I only have the one lens, the 10-24. Great lens, really sharp, but the problem I have is sometimes it's not long enough, so I'm just going to have to go into the 24 and crop, I think. Sun's starting to come up over the clouds a bit there now, behind me, so it's going to shed some light perhaps onto those rocks now. So I'm down there a little bit, but I'm actually going to drop down further onto a ledge down there, I think. So I'm just heading off down to there to see if I can get composition with the sun hitting those rocks. Back in a sec. Right, come down, down to the ledge down here, and the sun's come up over the clouds, so we've got nice lighting over on the cliffs there at the moment. So I'm just currently doing long exposure with my 10 stop, f11, and just doing 30 seconds, a little bit blown out on the sky there, so I'm just going to do perhaps a 20-second exposure. Like I say, nice light hitting the rocks, cliff area over there now. Again, as I said just now, I need a bit of a longer lens really, so I'm right in at 24mm now, and see how that goes. Right, just coming up on 20 seconds. What I might need to do, well, I'll be able to pull out the shadows anyway. It's not too bad. Just going to fire off a couple from down here with the light on the rocks, and go from there really. I don't think I'm going to get any other exposures perhaps. Compositions I mean, rather. I'm going to go and have a look on the beach bit over there in a sec. See what I can see from there. But for now, I think this is the one. I've been shooting portrait as well. I'm just going to go with a landscape while I'm here. I've gone with portrait so I can get the rock in down there as well. Obviously landscape, all I'm going to get is the cliff face there, but I'm just going to do that now, set that up while the sun's shining on it, so I'll be back with you in a second.